Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show. And on Fridays, we discuss what is called Fitness Friday because we believe that you should be fit so that you can enjoy the money you work so hard to earn. Now, you've been scrolling social media. You've probably been looking at Instagram and you've been looking at all of those washboard abs, those beach boards, and you've been thinking, can you get something like that? Is it achievable? And when you've asked around, you've probably been told that you need to get on a diet, you need to cut out the carbs, the sugar, the alcohol, and basically everything that you find tasty in order to get even an inch closer to that target. My next guest is of the opinion that you should not do that. He believes that you can have your cake and eat it too. It gives me pleasure to introduce to you Avinash Mansukhani, who is transformation specialist and founder of Fight the Sunrise. Thanks so much, Avinash, for joining in. And I think what you're going to say is going to bring music to a lot of ears. Why do you say that you don't need to be so drastic in order to get in shape?
Hey, Alex. Great to be here. So, something I've believed in and something I've gone through all my life, having yo-yo through weight issues. We're all going to have that cake. We're all going to have that carb. We're all going to have that alcohol. So we need to find a way to moderate it in such a way that it works for us. So what I look to do is I look to teach people how to kind of manipulate these things to make them work in your favor instead of completely devoiding yourself of them and then binging on them.
That's a very fair point because you tend to overcompensate. I've found that personally, if I skip the sugar in my coffee, I tend to have an ice cream later in the day because I say, hey, you know what? I skipped the sugar in my coffee. And because the ice cream tastes good. So the pitch was that, I asked you, can you come up with a way in which to tell people how they can have those carbs, have the things that they love and still manage to, if not get that washboard abs, at least move towards being fitter. And what did you come up with?
So when it comes to carbs, carbs are a whole food group. They're a whole food source. The moment you devoid your body of a whole food source, there are going to be consequences. Your body takes time to burn fat to release energy. It burns carbs faster. And there are a lot of processes that happen in your body where you need this faster energy. Therefore, carbs are super important. But the problem that generally arises with carbs is that they tend to get super easy to overeat. You'll grab that extra roti, you'll grab another slice of bread, you take another serving of rice, or you'll have hidden sugars where you don't know how much is going in. That is where the problem generally arises. So what I look to do is I look to tell people, eat your carbs in every meal, all your 4 meals, 5 meals, get your carbs in, but moderate it in such a way that you get what you need from it, and then you're not eating those useless calories. It's those useless calories that pile up and then get stored as fat, as you rightly said. So that's basically what you need to do. So if you're eating your rice, if you're eating your roti, go ahead, eat it. Your body does need that simple energy to perform all its internal functions. But let's not go overboard, right? So you don't need to give up anything at any point.
Avinash, speaking of carbs, I don't know if this is actually a thing. Perhaps from the fitness standpoint, you can explain this. But when you do get a few days of exercise under your belt, you feel hungrier, right? At least I do.
Right.
What do you do in between meals? Because I think I find that I tend to eat a little bit extra, and usually it's carbs because that's the easiest thing that is available. How do you cut down on that? What do you suggest people do?
What I do is I prescribe a mix of carb and protein meals, which tend to kind of satiate you more and keep you fuller for longer. Of course, when you're exercising, you're burning more calories, you're bound to feel hungry, and your body does need that extra fuel that you've kind of expended. So yes, do eat, don't starve yourself, but then something like protein shake and a fruit as an evening snack, right? It's about a 250 calorie meal, gives you your carbs and gives you enough protein that will keep you fuller. Maybe a mung chilla or something like that. Maybe egg and a toast. Low calorie, satiating, and kind of gets you where you want to be.
Fantastic. Now, there is a concept where you can't go full tilt into something. This is basically the concept of the show that we're doing today, right? But having
Right.
said that, you've mentioned that cheating is never going to work,
Right.
and that you shouldn't have that one off day. Why do you say that?
So let me put it this way. I don't believe in the notion of cheat. To me or to everyone, uh, every food should be able, you should be able to eat anything, enjoy it, have it in moderation, and also use it as an energy source. People who go into the cheat meal, cheat day kind of way of thinking, they'll be super clean 6 out of 7 days, get into that deficit of 300, 400 calories every day, which is perfect, exactly what you want to do. Then in one meal or one day, they'll have pizza, fries, burger, cake, ice cream, whatever they want, and end up undoing that deficit. Perhaps some people who are super clean, I know, and super disciplined go into a surplus of calories because of this one meal or one day, end up putting on fat, and then be like, hey, I'm eating clean. Why am I not seeing progress? So instead of that, I kind of preach live an 80-20 life. 80% of your day, be clean, get the nutrients you need, give yourself enough calories to play around with. Pizza once in a while, here and there, chocolate ice cream, maybe even a bit every day, not going to make a difference to your progress. Scheduling those 3,000 calories because it's your cheat meal is going to kind of undo what you've worked so hard towards. Let me give you an example. Suppose you're craving a pizza. If you eat a pizza, it's about a 700 calorie meal. Your normal dinner would have been 4 to 500 calories. You've gone 200 calories overboard. No big deal. But because you've had a pizza, you're like, hey, I've cheated. Let me also have fries. Let me also have ice cream. Let me also have chocolate. Now you've probably added another 1,000 calories without you actually craving it, right? That's why I kind of don't believe in this cheat meal. Instead of devoid and binging, be more moderate and flexible.
That's great advice. The other point that you were raising is that you need to eat to lose fat versus eating healthy. What do you mean by that?
So what I mean is a lot of people get confused by eating healthy or eating to lose fat, as in when they diet. Eating to lose fat and eating healthy can be very separate things. In the quest to eat healthy, a lot of people overconsume calories, which then make them put on more fat. Uh, for example, let's take something super healthy or superfood. Let's take dry fruits. About 10 almonds, 100 calories, three big walnuts, 100 calories, one big date, 90 calories. You have it in that amount, amazing for you, superfood, great nutrients. You have a handful, 500 calories of fat that's going to get stored. Um, People will have smoothie bowls, acai, banana, peanut butter, coconut shavings, cranberries. They'll have a 700 calorie smoothie bowl, but not eat a 150 calorie Magnum ice cream. Why? Smoothie bowl is perceived as healthy. How do you define healthy? Very, very vague term. Depending on what else you've eaten in the day, that may be excess, right? So people get confused between eating healthy and eating to lose weight, thinking that they come to the same thing. A lot of the times, eating healthy can overshoot your calories. So you have to be mindful of that line between quality and quantity.
That's a very fair point. The last point that you were raising, the fourth point in having your cake and eating it too, has to do with what I think is a lot of people's problem in that they binge on the weekends and they think that
Right.
they can't do that as far as alcohol is concerned. Um, what's the advice that you give to people when it comes to the weekly alcohol intake?
All right. So when it comes to alcohol, the calories in alcohol are really low, right? 60 to 70, a small of any of the spirits, 120 to 150 a beer or a wine. Even if you have a big night and have maybe five, six larges, you're drinking 700 calories of alcohol. You're talking, you're dancing, you're moving, you're being engaged for about 3 to 4 hours. More often than not, we burn that stuff out. Not a big problem. The problem generally comes with what you consume with the alcohol, the aerated drinks, the tonics with your gins, your sugar-laden cocktails, your Red Bulls. That makes that 65 calorie drink become the 250 calorie drink. That generally piles up. Also, after a night of drinking, if you're then going to go and have a 600, 700 calorie pizza to absorb the alcohol, that's another place where calories kind of pile up, right? So if you're more conscious of what you consume with your alcohol, you're not really in that bad a place. Go home, eat something small to absorb the alcohol, no big deal. So when it comes to calories, alcohol is not that much of a problem. The problem with alcohol comes with it does slow down your protein synthesis and recovery for the day. Basically, it doesn't let you get into stages of sleep where your body burns fat, repairs muscle, detoxifies the body, etc., etc. That's why I tell my clients, if you're drinking, go enjoy that one night out a week, right? Drink, enjoy that a night out. But for the next 6 days, then be clean, let your workouts count, let your metabolism be on point, let your recovery be on point. So that's why I kind of play it the kind of reverse logic of cheat meals. Here, I rather you have that one night out, but then be clean and let your body recover well for the next 6 days and perform well for the next 6 days.
Well, that's motivation for me going into the weekend. Thanks so much, Avinash, for joining in for those lovely thoughts. And I think achievable, really, goals that you've set for a lot of our viewers joining in. I'm sure they'll thank you later for this. Thanks again for taking the time.
Sure.
All right, and that brings us to the end of this edition. That brings us to the end of this edition of The Money Show. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing it to you. Do stay tuned. This is ET Now.